demonstrations to rise, President Biden has broken that pledge. And we are less than 5 months into this administration. Madam Speaker, any economics class would tell you the worst thing to do is exactly what the Bidenomics has done to this country. You inherit one of the strongest economies, a GDP growing, and you actually do the opposite. You pay people to stay home. You inflect more money into the economy from government, which only drives up inflation. We have not seen something like this since Jimmy Carter took this country into stagnation. Now Americans are paying more at supermarkets, hardware stores, and gas stations. And it's only been 5 months. In fact, we have a serious gas shortage in a nation that was recently energy independent. Could you imagine, Madam Speaker, becoming President of the United States and having a country that's energy independent, that's actually sending natural gas to other nations, to waking up and no gas in the gas lines in America? Not because Congress passed a bill, but because you signed an executive order. Madam Speaker, I remember wanting to see my grandmother one day. It was back during the Jimmy Carter years, and my father told me no. And I asked why we couldn't drive to see Grandma. Because our license plate ended in an even number, not an odd. It's the only other time you can compare what's happening in America today. 17,000 gas stations nationwide were completely emptied out. The average price of gasoline remains above $3. This is the highest gasoline has been since the last time Biden was in office. In California, the average was $4.12. And in Virginia, prices were as high as nearly $7 a gallon. It didn't have to be this way. He didn't have to attack the hardworking Americans in the energy industry. His own Secretary of Energy said pipelines were good, even though he ended the XL pipeline. And went after the ability for Americans to even drill on federal land. So now Russia is sending gasoline to America? Does that make any sense? To make our enemies stronger? Why Russia builds up thousands of troops along the border of Ukraine? Or enter a negotiation with Iran, who supplies missiles to shoot at our allies? Instead of priming the pump, Bidenomics has emptied the tank. From inflation to gas lines, the American economy today looks like it did in 1979 than in 2019. When wages were rising, businesses were growing, and unemployment was at record lows. None of this is an accident, you see, Madam Speaker. It is a direct result of bad federal policies that distorted incentives and prices. Yet President Biden, Speaker Pelosi, and other Democrats still want to tax and spend more. Even the most liberal economists tell you that's wrong, which very seldom happens. They decided to propose another $5.2 trillion in new spending, as if there's a bottomless cash pit for politicians to draw on. They also decided to propose the largest tax increase in American history, including making the corporate tax rate the highest in the world. Higher than France, higher than Venezuela, a socialist country, and higher than communist China. Madam Speaker, why would the Democrats and Speaker Pelosi want to give China a benefit over America? I don't understand why we wouldn't look after American workers first. These proposals reflect a fundamental difference between Republicans and this new socialist Democrats. Republicans believe that there is dignity and value in hard work and risk-taking. Democrats believe that process comes by forcing people to be dependent on their government. That's not progress, to force somebody to be dependent on government. And they want to control the decisions you make. When you can work, when you can drive, whether you should wear a mask, and it doesn't matter what the science or the CDC says. If Speaker Pelosi has the power, she'll enforce it on you. They want to know what you can read on the internet and what you can teach your children. But look at history. I don't see a single country where Democrat socialist ideas worked before. They've all been failures. And my greatest fear is the direction that you're sending America. In a few 4 months, America goes from energy independence to having gasoline stations without gas. From an economy where you've done nothing would grow back to creating inflation we haven't seen in decades. To empowering our enemies to only harm our allies. You have more job-wanted signs in America, 8 million, and you missed the jobs report, the worst we've seen in decades, by the action taken on this floor. And the hard part about it, Madam Speaker, is we warned you. We told you what would happen. We told you were going to create inflation. We told you you're going to kill American jobs. You're going to reward people not to work. I've never been a believer in participation trophies. They don't work. They don't help. And certainly, to those small businesses that have struggled to survive, you're crushing them. Every indication, every number shows it. And to sit here on the floor and say you will not raise their taxes, you're doing it right now. You're hurting the most vulnerable. Gas prices higher, the bread, the lumber to even build the house, you're pricing them out. The recent surge of bad economic news and what should be a robust recovery is a warning sign that your ideas are not working now. The last time inflation was this high, Joe Biden was vice president. The last time gas prices was this high, Joe Biden was vice president. We found the common denominator is President Biden's bad policies. Unfortunately, instead of learning from history, President Biden and Democrats are choosing to repeat it. That was one of the low points in America. When inflation was high, interest rates were there, and the rest of the world questioned whether America was what they used to be. We proved what policies could matter. Incentive to work. Let people keep more of what they earn. Make America energy independent. What's so amazing to me, when President Biden was elected, he had Operation Warp Speed. He got a vaccine, and he was vaccinated before he was even sworn in. He had millions of the vaccine being produced. He had an economy rising, coming out of the COVID pandemic. He had more job-wanted signs. If he literally did nothing, America would be stronger. But he took the wrong actions, led by the socialist Democrats of this floor, Madam Speaker. Now America's hurting. The only thing I ask, study history. Listen to those who are creating jobs. Take the incentive away where government is everything, and unshackle what holds us back, and let Americans have the freedom they deserve, desire, and prove that the next century will be ours once again.
From the city to the flow, all the way down Goosebumps down, to small businesses go. S513 suckers, S513 yeah, S513 suckers, S513 yeah. Get, I know. Get, I know. From the city to the flow, all the way down Goosebumps down, to small businesses go. All small business suckers, all small business, yeah. All small business suckers, no matter where your location, yeah. Woo.